pre-production is like a massive part of what we do, and what that means is just planning ahead of the photo shoot exactly how it's going to kind of unfold. So sometimes we might get a phone call and someone might say, hey, are you free to photograph this person in a London photo studio on Tuesday? We want a grey background and the start time is 10 o'clock. And we're like, great, see you on Tuesday, 10 o'clock. It's done, 3 emails. Other times we might have jobs that involve 500 emails. Oh, is there a blue background we could use? Yeah, could we see the availability of blue backgrounds? Could we have a blue background painted? Oh, the editor now decided she wants to change the blue to a green, so then there's a lot more questions to be asked. Or maybe there's a set being built. Sometimes we're having sets built with different walls and different fabrics, and then there'll be a big creative discussion about the brief, so how the client wants it to look, and that depends on whether it's an editorial shoot or more of an advertising shoot. But there might be some complicated kind of lighting setup that's needed. So really what we're doing kind of on every job is the pre-production bit. Where are we going to do it, what time, and what is the background or the setting, and once we've kind of ascertained that, then we kind of order our lighting. I then go through, I have a creative folder of images, which is really important to me. That lives on my desktop, and I go through that every time that I get a new job brief, and I pull pieces of that out and let them kind of weave into the creative, just to kind of make sure that the shoot's going to be as creative as possible. Maybe there was a background that I saw somewhere that I took an iPhone picture of that's a certain tone of gold, and so I'll be maybe suggesting that to the client. Hey, what about this gold background? This looks really cool. Or maybe it's the fact that I saw some neon lights reflected in some water and I loved the way they kind of shimmered. And so maybe I'll be saying, hey guys, I know you thought about doing it in these different colors, but look, could we get a little bit of water on the floor? Maybe we build a small pool and have 2 or 3 centimeters of water, and then we'd see the lights reflected. So once the brief comes in, I kind of take that brief and I think, okay, how could I make it better? How could I make it more creative? And sometimes I can get a lot of my creativity into there, some of the times not so much. And so once we have that plan, then we move forward to the shoot day, and then we turn up early and get ready to kind of build the set and wait for the talent to arrive, and then hopefully have a kind of really creative day. So that's kind of a lot of the stuff that happens beforehand. Sometimes, I'm expected to be doing big client calls, Zoom calls, obviously, particularly with lots of different people on, to discuss the creative. Sometimes none. Sometimes, like the example I gave a little while ago, hi, are you free on Tuesday? It's a grey background, see you at 10 o'clock. Great, I'll still bring as much creativity to a shoot like that as I can. Hopefully we each time we end up having, a net result that is a bit more creative than it possibly could have been at the beginning. That's kind of what's important to me. Things that I use that are really crucial to kind of pre-production are a great mood board, which I know we mentioned briefly. I use actually Pages, which is within Apple, to pull together my mood board really quickly. But much more importantly for me is, where are some of those references coming from? And I have this massive folder on my desktop, and it's been there for like 10 or 12 years, maybe even longer, and in it has got loads of different references, creative references. It's got pictures of smoke in it, it's got random squares of color in it, it's got examples of screen grabs of other photography work that I really love. And so that reference folder I dip into to get kind of as much inspiration as I can do. So that's really important. And I would say to anyone else, thinking about wanting to up their game in terms of portrait photography, or up their game in terms of creativity. Creativity is a muscle, and we have to practice using it and work with it to make it stronger. And how do you do that? Well, you remind yourself, surround yourself with great references of things that really struck a chord with you, or things that really made you feel, wow, I love the way that sky went pink. Okay, cool. Maybe I'll just screen grab that pink, and maybe we'll have some paint made up in that exact pink, and maybe we'll paint a big background just that color pink, all because it struck a chord with me when I first saw the picture of clouds. So I'm just making the point about creativity and how you really need to be kind of bringing it to the table each time, I believe anyway. So tools we use anyway would be Pages to pull together mood boards, and obviously a lot of email and things like that, and sometimes we're working on Keynote to present work together in a slide form. So they're kind of all the things we use, pre-production. And then we use various apps on our phone. We use a sun tracking app to show where the sun will rise and where the sun will set within the location that we're at. Maybe we're shooting not in a studio but in a big house in London that the client has hired, and maybe there's a lot of glass and we need to know where the sun would go up so we can plan for that. And so we use that in conjunction with a few different weather apps as well, so we can really try and track the weather and check that we're, if we're getting rain, fine, was there an outside shot? If we're getting full sun and there's a glass roof, this could be a big problem for us. We need to order some 12 foot by 12 foot pieces of black material to block that hard sun coming in. So yeah, important for us to use a few different apps and tools to make sure that we're really prepped, ready to go, for the shoot day.